The fitness industry is worth $100 billion in 2024. If you're watching this in the future, it's probably worth a lot more. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, because it's such a big industry. Everybody claims that they have the newest, brightest idea or strategy to help you lose weight. Okay, you've got biohackers. You've got people telling you to do the carnivore diet, keto, paleo. Well, I'm here to tell you all of that is bullshit. And I'm gonna tell you in this free training how to lose fat and build muscle so simply. I'm gonna make it so simple that even a toddler could understand it, okay? So, I'm just gonna get right into it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sebastian Bedinker. You can go on my website, sebastianbedinker.com, to learn a little bit about who I am. I'm a binge eating recovery coach. I've helped hundreds of people eliminate their binge eating, develop healthier eating habits, and get the body of their dreams. But just wanted to mention that's not the point of this video. So, how do we shred fat? There's gonna be three key components to this, okay? And build muscle. So, the three key components that we have are diet, training, and recovery. Diet being the most important. Then you've got training, which is going to help speed up the process. And then you've got recovery, which is also very underrated. And I don't hear a lot of people talk too much about it, so I really want to mention it. All right. We're gonna start obviously with the most important, which is diet. Okay, so first thing first, when it comes to losing fat, you're gonna wanna be in a calorie deficit. A lot of people think calorie counting is like this disorder. It's like, oh, well, I don't wanna count my calories. Well, you're gonna have to if you wanna lose fat, okay? It is the best, most effective way to lose fat, especially since right now, maybe you're overweight, maybe you're fat, maybe you're obese. You don't really have a good understanding of how much you should be eating. So, how do you actually find how many calories you should be eating to lose fat? You're gonna go on a website called calculator.net, okay? Just write that down. I will also include a link to it right in the description. And so what calculator.net is going to do, it's gonna take your gender, your age, height, your activity level, and it's gonna tell you exactly how many calories you should be aiming for, how many you should be eating a day so that you can lose weight, okay? You can even choose how aggressively you wanna lose weight. So, you can go from as little as like 0.5 pounds a week to 1 pound a week up to 2 pounds a week, okay? I always recommend 1 to 2 pounds a week is kind of that sweet spot. Anything more, you're probably being a little too aggressive and it's not gonna be sustainable. Okay, so 1 to 2 pounds, that's the perfect sweet spot, just stick to that. Now, how are you actually going to track your calories to make sure you're staying on track? Well, you're gonna use something called a calorie counting app, okay? I hope you guys can see this, but the one I recommend is Lose It. I'm not affiliated by them. It is a completely free app, and all you do is just type in the food that you're eating. You can scan barcodes. Let's say you go to Chick-fil-A and you get like a chicken sandwich, you can type that in, it'll pop up, you just click it. Okay, this is really gonna help you stay on track with your calories. How do we make sure we are even more effective when calorie counting? Get a food scale. Okay, you're definitely gonna wanna invest in a food scale. Why is that? Well, because a lot of people think, let's say you're pouring some chips or you're pouring some popcorn. You're thinking, oh, well, this is just a serving size. Meanwhile, you just poured 4 servings because you have no idea how much is 28 grams, okay? That's typically like a serving size of chips or something. So make sure that you also invest into a food scale, okay? If you don't know how to measure or weigh out your food, I have videos on my Instagram. You can also search up like a free training on like YouTube. It's like 30 seconds, okay? It's very, very simple. But you wanna make sure you're weighing out your food for most accurate results. But just to get started, just find your calories and start tracking them with a free app. The one I recommend is Lose It. Okay, a lot of people use MyFitnessPal as well. I used to like MyFitnessPal, but they started charging money to be able to scan barcodes. So I was like, fuck that, let me just find a free app. And Lose It is a really good app that allows you to do it completely for free. Okay, now next thing when it comes to diet, now we're gonna talk about macronutrients, okay? A lot of people like to overcomplicate this, but I'm just gonna keep it very simple. Okay, protein is gonna help you stay full so you don't get cravings, and it's gonna help you build muscle. So what I recommend is 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So I used to say 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, but I started to work with some clients that were, obese. So like, let's say they weigh 350 pounds. I'm not gonna recommend them to eat 350 pounds of protein. That is a lot. Like, that's something a bodybuilder should be eating. So I switched over to ideal body weight. So let's say they want to get to 250 pounds. That's how much protein we'd be eating, 250 grams of protein per day. And like I said, that's really going to help you with being full, like staying full, not getting those nasty cravings that will throw you off your diet and health goals. And it's also going to help you build muscle, which is very, very important to building a great physique and, improving your body composition. Guys, you don't just want to focus on fat loss, okay? You want to incorporate weightlifting, strength training. That way, your body looks strong, okay? You don't just want to look like a bag of milk when you lose the fat, okay? So definitely make sure you're eating protein. Now let's talk about carbs. Carbs are very, very important. Stop demonizing carbs, okay? Carbs are not the devil. They're not the reason you're fat. The reason you're fat is because you're overeating calories, okay? So carbs, you want before training. That's when I always recommend them. So what are some good examples of some really good carbs? I'd say potatoes, probably the best carb source there is. Okay, potatoes are amazing. They also help you stay really full. They help you stay satiated. Rice is also a very good option. Quinoa is a very good option. But you want to make sure you have carbs in your diet. Stop demonizing them and stop restricting yourself from carbs. Okay, they give you energy, the energy that you need to really push yourself in the gym and to help your brain performance, mental performance, cognitive performance, okay? Fats, contrary to popular belief, they do not make you fat. Fats, again, very, very essential. They're more essential than carbs. You cannot live without fats, okay? Fats are going to regulate your hormones. Again, this is gonna really help with, burning more fat and also regulating your cravings so you don't get a ton of cravings. So what are some examples of healthy fats? You've got avocado, you've got peanuts, you've got peanut butter, you've got, olive oil. Again, when you're using oil in your food, you want to be very light with it if you're on a fat loss journey, but olive oil is a healthy fat. Eggs, one of the best healthy fats there is. So again, you don't want to demonize fats. You want to make sure you have some. Okay, now let's talk about the last thing when it comes to diet. Fiber, veggies, and fruits, okay? Do not neglect veggies, fruits, or fiber, okay? If you have trouble using the restroom, as funny as that sounds, but we're all adults here, make sure that you supplement fiber, okay? But before you do that, actually, make sure you're eating veggies, okay? A lot of people are like, oh, I can't really use the bathroom, or I'm having trouble digesting food. Well, what is your veggie intake looking like? Are you even consuming any broccoli, any carrots? Okay, you want to make sure you have veggies pretty much in all of your meals, okay? Again, with fruits, you want to make sure you're eating fruits 1 to 2 times a day, veggies 2 to 3 times a day. You should really be aiming to have veggies in all of your meals, again, but that's not really feasible for a lot of people. That's hard for even me, but that should be what you should be aiming for. So if you're not having veggies even once a day, you are seriously messing up your fat loss journey, because this is really going to help you with digestion and also being full, because fiber helps you stay full. Now, if you are eating veggies, you are eating fruits, you're getting your fiber in, but you're still having digestive issues, issues using the bathroom, just supplement with the fiber, and that can really, really help out. And if you still have digestive issues, it may be an underlying health condition, and you should go see a doctor. Now, one last thing that I cannot fit in here in diet, but this is very, very important, is you want to be aiming for 4 to 6 smaller sized meals. Okay, so typically most people will just have 1 or even 2 meals a day, which is just terrible. Okay, you should not be skipping breakfast. You should not be having that little amount of meals, in a day, because what that's going to do is it's going to really increase your cravings if you're eating that little. So instead, what you can do, 4 to 6 smaller portion size meals, and then have a meal every 2 to 3 hours, okay? This is really gonna help with cravings. It's really gonna make sure that you have food in your stomach so you're not having cravings, and it's just gonna make you feel good throughout the day and have a good, consistent level of energy throughout the day. Okay, if you don't have time for whatever reason to, eat a full meal or make a meal, what you can do is just have a quick protein shake, have some carbs like some rice cakes, which don't require any time to make, and that can count towards one of your meals. But you should be aiming for 4 to 6 smaller sized meals, okay? That's really gonna help you tremendously with your fat loss journey, and that's what I recommend for all my clients. Okay, so we touched on diet. Now let's talk about training, another very key component to accelerating the fat loss process, but especially the building muscle part. Okay, so when it comes to training, let's first talk about what you should be doing before training. All right, I always recommend pre-workout or caffeine. Now this is not necessary, but it's really gonna help you, okay? Especially if you don't like going to the gym, it's kind of a drag. then you definitely should be having some caffeine or some pre-workout. Now, if you don't like caffeine, you can opt for something like a non-stim pre-workout, which means it doesn't have caffeine, but it's going to give you the other effects, which are like focus, and it's going to help you feel in the zone. It's going to give you a pump, which is going to make you look bigger in the gym, maybe dish out some more reps. But definitely pre-workout or caffeine. Main things you want to look for in a pre-workout, just make sure it has caffeine, make sure it has something for focus. A lot of people are like, oh, well, this pre-workout gives you a really great pump. That's not necessarily that important. Main thing you want in a pre-workout is just caffeine for energy, obviously, and something for focus so you can really zone in and kill your workout. Okay, so that would be the first thing. And again, those are optional. If you can get to the gym without it, amazing. So now let's talk about how you want to be training. I always recommend high intensity training. Now, what you'll hear on the internet is everybody's like, oh, this is the best method to train. This is how you should be training. Everything else is wrong. I'm not that type of person, okay? As a coach, I've worked with so many people, hundreds of people, and I understand everybody's body isn't the same, okay? Let's say if someone is very new to the gym, maybe they can't do high intensity training. They have no idea how to even pick up a weight. Maybe someone's a senior and their bones just can't handle high intensity training. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, this is how everybody in the entire fucking world should be training. No, I just recommend this for a majority of people. Okay, the reason I really recommend high intensity training, and don't worry, I'm gonna get into exactly what it is because it's gonna let you be in and out of the gym in like 30 to 40 minutes or less, and you're still gonna have an amazing workout. It's super highly effective. So if you're a busy person, maybe you run a business, maybe you're very career oriented, maybe you've got a family life, this is why it's so effective. Okay, now what is high intensity training? Basically, instead of going through each exercise and doing what you'll typically see, which is like 4 sets of 12, what you're gonna do is 1 to 2 working sets. Let me talk real quick if you don't know what sets and reps are. So sets are like the groups of the exercise that you're doing. Okay, so you wanna think of it as the groups, and then reps are the actual repetitions you're doing. So if I'm doing 1 set of bicep curls for 5 reps, it'd be like this. Okay, I'm on my first set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just did 5 reps. Okay, now that you know what sets and reps are, what is high intensity training? You're only doing 1 to 2 working sets per exercise, and then about 3 to 4 exercises, okay? And you wanna aim for that 5 to 8 rep range. Instead of like doing 12 reps, the reason you wanna aim for 5 to 8 reps is because that means you're using weight that actually pushes you, okay? So you can get more, bang for your buck, and you're not gonna have to spend so much time in the gym. You're using weight that actually pushes you in that 5 to 8 rep range, and all you need for that is 1 to 2 working sets per exercise. You do 4 exercises and you're already out of the gym, okay? That's why I really recommend high intensity training. Like I said though, it's not gonna work for everyone. If you're really new to the gym, you may not be comfortable using heavier weight. If you're a senior, you're a little bit older, maybe you have like arthritis or something, maybe high intensity training isn't for you, and you should, use lighter reps and lighter weights and more rep ranges, okay? But this is what I recommend for majority of people. Now, when it comes to cardio, okay guys, do not neglect your cardio. I see so many people just thinking they go to the gym, do the weights, and that's enough of an exercise. I'm here to tell you, lifting weights does not burn as many calories as you think it does. In fact, it barely burns any. Like if you have a really intense, lift session, like you're deadlifting, you're squatting, you're doing all, the main lifts, whatever the case may be, at most, you may burn 300, 400 calories. But if you're doing cardio, you can burn 400, 500, 600 calories just off a 30-minute session. So what do I recommend for cardio? I recommend always doing it after you lift, because you want to use a majority of your strength and energy for the weights so that you can build muscle. But cardio, you can just do it after, and I recommend the 12-3-30 method. What is the 12-3-30 method? You pick a treadmill that can go on an incline, you set it at 12 incline for 3 speed, and you do that for 30 minutes, and that's gonna burn a good amount of calories, depending on how accustomed you are to it. It can burn, as little as 300, maybe even up to 500, okay? But it's a very good method because it's low intensity, steady state cardio. I don't wanna get too in depth into that, it's a little more advanced, but basically LISS, low intensity, steady state cardio, is really good because you can do it every day and it's not gonna get you as tired as like running a marathon or something. So that is the cardio I recommend. Now, why do I recommend doing cardio? Okay, cardio, 2 reasons. It's gonna help you burn fat faster, but also it's gonna allow you to eat more. So let's say, your calorie deficit, the number that you should be aiming for is, let's say 2,000 calories. Okay, if you do cardio and you burn 400 calories, that means you can eat an extra 400 calories and still be in that deficit. But if you're not doing cardio, then you have to sacrifice that. Like you can't eat those extra 400 calories. So this is why all my clients do cardio, so that they can eat more and they don't feel like super hungry throughout the day. All right, so let me pull out my notes real quick. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything in training. Okay, progressive overload. That's huge. Almost forgot. So when you're lifting, you want to make sure that you are progressively overloading. And what does that mean? It means that you want to make sure you are increasing, upping the weight every session, every week. Okay, so let's say, you're doing something like bench press in that 5 to 8 rep range, like I said, and you're doing, let's say 135 pounds. Next week, provided that, your diet and your recovery, which we're going to get into, are on point, provided that your diet and recovery are on point, you should be aiming to increase that weight. So instead of doing 135 like you did last week and staying comfortable, push yourself and add some extra weight, maybe go up to 145, maybe go up to 150, whatever you're comfortable with, and then do that weight. And then every week, again, provided your diet and recovery on point, you should be aiming to increase the weight, because as you get stronger, that means you're building new muscle. That is the simplest way that I can explain progressive overload. Increasing the weight every session. That's what you should be aiming for, because it means you're getting stronger and it means you're building new muscle. Now, let's talk about recovery. This is something that a lot of people don't talk about when they're, discussing fat loss, when they're discussing muscle building. So very, very key, very, very important. I emphasize this for all of my clients. 8 hours of sleep. Oh my God. Whenever I talk to anybody on a consultation call, one of the first things I ask is like, okay, how much sleep are you getting? If they tell me anything less than 6 hours, that is immediately one of the main reasons you're overweight or fat or out of shape. You need to be getting at least, at the very bare minimum, 7 hours, but 8, that is what I would recommend. There's a magnitude of reasons you should be getting this much sleep, but the main reason is sleep is literally when you lose fat. It is in our REM cycle of sleep when we're losing fat. So if you're not getting 8 hours of sleep, you're not going to be losing fat as effectively. Okay, they actually did a study where there was a group of people who slept less than 6 hours versus a group of people that slept 8 hours. And the difference in fat loss was literally 60%. 60%. That could be pounds of extra fat you could lose, provided you just get enough sleep. So just make sure you're getting enough fucking sleep. If you cannot sleep, use a sleep aid, something like magnesium, zinc, or zinc magnesium, something like zinc magnesium. And another good one is melatonin. That's a really good one. So that will help you go to sleep. And guys, just turn off the phone. Okay, turn off the phone. Stop scrolling on TikTok. It's gonna be there tomorrow. Stop scrolling on Instagram. It's gonna be there tomorrow. Prioritize your sleep, okay? Another good thing, or another important thing that we should mention about recovery is the protein, okay? We already mentioned it in diet, but it's gonna be, again, 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Now, the reason we wanna emphasize this as well in recovery of ideal body weight. So, the reason we wanna emphasize this in recovery is because if we're not getting our protein in, guys, we're gonna be sore as hell. We're gonna be working out, you're burning off all of your body's natural fuel, natural resources, and you're building muscle. But guess what? If you're not getting enough protein, you are gonna be sore as hell. And I'm gonna break it to you guys, soreness is not always a good thing. A lot of people think, oh, I'm so sore from yesterday's workout. I must have killed my body. That's not necessarily the case. Like, yes, if you're a complete beginner and you've never lifted weights, you are going to be sore because your body's never done that, okay? It's like the same thing when I was starting jiu-jitsu. My body was not used to gi jiu-jitsu where you're pulling, and so I was super sore. But if you've been training for 6 months to a year plus and you're still getting sore every day, that means your recovery is not on point. So it means you either need more sleep or you need to really be emphasizing your protein, okay? You need to be getting 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight to really help your soreness. Okay, another thing, guys, and I know this is easier said than done, but reduce your fucking stress, okay? You need to be reducing your stress. There's not really much I can say about this because it's very person dependent, but if you find yourself that you're extremely stressed, you need to be looking for healthier outlets. Maybe you can talk to a therapist, a trusted family friend, or a regular friend, but you need to be reducing your stress because, again, that's really gonna affect your recovery. It's gonna increase your cortisol, which means less sleep and worse sleep. And that's really gonna make, this fat loss journey, this muscle building journey a lot harder. So yeah, we just gotta reduce the stress. Again, it's very person dependent. I can't really give you specific advice on that because I don't know your specific situation, but we do wanna reduce stress as much as possible. And then let me look at my notes again, make sure I'm not missing anything else in recovery. Yes. So one last thing, rest days, okay? Now, a lot of people are like, I need a rest because like, I'm overtraining. Okay, most people are not training nearly hard enough that they are overtraining. But you do need some rest days, okay? I would recommend 1 to 2 rest days. But I really want you guys to understand, like, you really have to push yourself throughout the week. Don't just go in the gym and barely break a sweat. You're doing your curls like this. You're doing your overhead press like this, like you're looking around. Like, no, you need to really push yourself in the gym so that you can earn these rest days. All right? You need to earn these fucking rest days. Okay, and again, 1 to 2 rest days a week, that is the sweet spot. Now, this is just some advice, but I would recommend on your rest days, don't have your cheat meals, don't go out like fast food, don't go out and have fast food. I would save those for the days you're going to the gym. Why? Because you're burning more calories on the days you're going to the gym, and you can use, your cheat meal, you can use your refeed meal, whatever you like to call it, your fast food meal, restaurant meal, whatever you want to call it, for the gym. You can use those resources you get. Let's say you have a steak and potatoes. Let's say you have a burger and fries for your cheat meal. You can use that at the gym. So I would try to save this for the days you're working out and just leave your rest days for recovery. Now, even on rest days, I always recommend for my clients, get some activity, get your regular steps in, maybe go on a light walk, maybe even a light jog, but definitely, on your rest days, recover. Okay, don't go to the gym, don't lift weights. Like, you want to make sure you are resting. Very, very important for recovery, and so you don't strain your body, you don't cause extra stress, and you can actually recover and build muscle and burn fat effectively. Now, guys, I went through a lot here. If you need to rewind anything, rewatch anything, definitely feel free to. I'm gonna move away so you can take a screenshot if needed. But this is the exact step-by-step guide on how to shred fat and build muscle. Listen, guys, I hope you guys really found this useful. If you guys want to work one-on-one with me and you just feel like you need that personal support, you feel like you need someone to really keep you accountable and help you out with a meal plan, with a workout program, we do community group calls in our program. So it's a great way for you to connect with other people that are on that same journey as you. And yeah, we also, check in every week. Like, I will personally text you from my personal phone number, and, we'll do weekly check-ins, make sure you're staying on track with everything. If you feel like that's something that could benefit you, first link in the description, it's my website, sebastianbeneker.com. We can book in a free consultation call. I'll see if I can help you out, and we'll get you in the best shape of your life. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments, and I will respond to all of them. And I hope you have an amazing fucking day, and I hope this really helped.